Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jeff Williams with JP Williams Nature Photography. Spring is almost here. The grass is starting to turn green, and Kim and I are starting to talk about where we want to go this summer. But while we're talking about that, I started thinking about the photos that I took in 2021. And I want to share with you these two videos. One is going to be my 10 favorite photos that I took landscape in the Smoky Mountains this past year. The next one will be about my favorite wildlife pictures that I took this past year, both in the Smoky Mountains. I really love these images. I hope you're going to love them too. We're going to share our camera settings with these and talk a little bit about the post-processing. But most of all, we just want to share these photos with you. Where are we?
We're at Holly Beans in Pigeon Forge.
This first photo was taken at about midnight at Newfound Gap Overlook. I don't know if it's that great a picture, but I love the way that today's cameras pick up things that we can't even see. And I just love astrophotography for that. I ran into a guy there who kind of took me by the hand and showed me a lot of things about shooting this. And to be honest with you, without that guy's help, who was a total stranger, I would have never got this picture. But it just shows the wonders and the beauty that is all around us, even in the nighttime. This is a picture of the Beech Grove Schoolhouse in the Cataloochee Valley. Obviously, it's fall. I just felt like this was a beautiful setting and composition for a picture. I love the way that the path to the schoolhouse curves through the image and comes into the house itself. To me, it just kind of helps me imagine the school kids running around in the schoolyard and walking to school with their books maybe hanging over their shoulder and maybe their lunch pail by their side. And it just kind of takes you back. When I post-process this, I up the texture a little bit to give it more of a painting look. And if you feel like it looks like a painting, or if you don't, please comment below. I would love to hear your comments. To be honest with you, feedback is the way that we learn to get better. I love shooting pictures of paths and old dirt roads. And this particular picture makes you feel like, or makes me feel like, this road is just going out of sight. And it's kind of like our journey in life, because we don't know what's going to be around the next bend. We can make our plans and this, that, and the other, but life has a way of changing those plans. I love this picture. I love the fall colors. I love the way that the road kind of twists into or out of sight. This picture was taken in Cades Cove. I love this picture. Hope you do too. Tell me what you think. Do you like pictures of roads going up through there? Or would you have done a different composition for this? Or just share with me your thoughts. This is probably one of the most photographed cabins in Cades Cove. It's been shot a lot of different ways, and I was trying to get a unique vision from it. So I kind of walked around until I got this fence going from left to right in front. And this kind of just makes me imagine pioneers coming home from a hunt, or maybe friends who've been traveling as they come across, and they just cross this fence and they're coming to visit their friends in the Smoky Mountains. Kind of like Last of the Mohicans when they're coming to visit their friends in the valley. I just love this picture. I hope you do too. This picture was also taken in Cades Cove. There's really not a subject for this picture. To me, the subject is the fall colors and the mist. So the whole picture is really the subject. So you could maybe even call this an abstract. We were stuck in a traffic jam on the loop, and I had a 150 by 600 millimeter lens, and I just zoomed in on this, and I felt like it really kind of captures the trees and the fall colors and the fog. It was after a rain. In post-processing, I tried to make it a little grainy. I wanted it to have a painting vibe. Let me know, did I achieve that? Would you hang this on your wall? Just like taking pictures of old roads and paths going through the woods, I love water. I love running water. More specifically, I love white water. I love waterfalls. I love cascades like this. I just think they're beautiful. And I always take these long exposure to give it kind of a milky appearance. My wife does not like that. My wife would rather see the invigoration, I guess, of the water moving. Well, I'd be curious to hear what you think too. Do you like that milky look, that surreal look, or would you rather just see it as nature shows it to us? I like the interaction between the gold and the green in this picture, and I also like the angle where it's coming from the middle of the picture at the left and going slightly to our right. You're never supposed to put your subject in the center of your picture, but I love to shoot my old roads and my water. I love to shoot it coming straight at me. I like that railroad effect where the sides of the stream are getting smaller and smaller as they drift out of sight. This again is a long exposure, obviously taken in the fall. To be honest with you, there's not a lot of post-processing in this picture. I will tell you that I was standing on a bridge. This picture was taken on the Roaring Fork Nature Tour just outside of Gatlinburg. And I was on a bridge and I could not get my tripod low enough to really get the angle that I wanted. So I actually took my camera off the tripod and set it on the rail of the bridge. And I cautiously and uncomfortably snapped a picture of a long exposure while I was waiting for my camera to fall off the bridge. But everything worked out okay. And I think this is just a nice, calm, serene picture. I love to just sit, to be honest with you, and just look at this stream and imagine my time in the Smokies last year. This next picture is Meigs Falls, just off Little Pigeon River Road. It's easy to miss these falls. There's a big pull-off there, a long pull-off. And you really kind of, if you're going toward Cades Cove, you really kind of look to your left, and it's back off the road maybe 150 yards. This picture was taken with a 150 to 600 millimeter lens. I know it looks black and white. It's actually not black and white. What I did in post-processing is I desaturated it. If you kind of look there on the left of the picture, you can see there's a little bit, just a faint amount of color in the leaves. It kind of comes out pink and very light green. But I thought that I just felt like this was the best way to show these falls. Now, I know I said in the last picture that that milky water makes you feel a little serene, but to me in this picture, the milky water adds to the power and the beauty of the water running over these falls. This is probably one of my favorite views in the Smokies. This is the chimney tops. This is taken again in the fall. I guess most of these pictures are taken in the fall. This is after the fire that just kind of devastated Gatlinburg a few years ago. I think this picture kind of speaks to how nature overcomes. As you can see in the lower part, these trees were really not touched a lot by the fire. And then you see as you start up the mountain that there's new growth in there, and those trees, are not near as big and not near as full, and there's still a lot of patches there. And then when you get to the top, you see a lot of the dead trees that are still there, and nature though is just crawling back up to the top of the mountain. I climbed Chimney Top several years ago when I was in my late 30s, and it was an amazing climb, and you could go all the way to the top then, up on that right side peak. You can't do that anymore. The rangers said that the fire had made the rocks unstable, and so they have actually completely redone the hiking trail, and it ends to where you can see the top, but you can't get there. I love this picture. I love the composition of this picture. As you can see at the top of that right peak, there's just a hint of sunlight, evening sunlight, touching that peak, and I think it just blends all the colors together and just makes a really nice portrait. The last picture in our video was taken at an overlook just past the entrance to where you turn up to go to Klingman's Dome. This may be one of the most iconic views in the Smokies, and I love it too. But I love this picture because of the blue skies and the blue mist over the mountains. When I post-process this, I'll just let you know, if you're familiar with post-processing, I masked the foreground and tried to take as much of the haze out of it as I could without ruining the integrity of the picture. And then I left the haze, as you can see, in the mountain view. And I felt like that gave us some depth of field, added some depth of field to it. But this is probably my favorite picture I've taken at this overlook. I hope you enjoyed looking at these pictures. I hope these pictures just brought you joy. I think a picture can do that. I think a picture, and when I take photos, I try to take a photo that invokes some kind of emotion. And the emotions in these landscapes is I want you to feel the joy that I had being there, visiting those places, like the Beech Grove School, to kind of give you a nostalgic feeling. I hope you can imagine what the Native Americans and the early settlers that came into this area, what they saw and what they appreciated about the Smokies. I want to share one more thing with you. My favorite image in landscape for 2021 was this. I just love the chimney tops, and I love the way that the colors of fall painted and the sun painted this portrait. Do me a favor. Tell me what your favorite picture of these 10 pictures was. And do me another favor. Please subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see the upcoming video about my 10 favorite wildlife pictures, please hit the button, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can get notifications of when we have videos coming up. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great day. God bless.